In this demo, I'm going to talk a little bit about packet comments, which are a really cool feature that are made possible by the new PCAP-NG file format. And I call it new just because I still feel like it's new. It's not that new anymore, but for those of us who are used to .pcap files, PCAP-NG is still relatively new. Now, what PCAP-NG allows you to do is save comments in the packet capture file. So, of course, a file like a PCAP file is going to contain the actual packet file itself and metadata associated with it. And a PCAP-NG is going to do the same, but it's going to allow for quite a bit more metadata, which includes packet comments. So I actually want to show you how that works here and show you a couple ways you can kind of optimize your workflow when it comes to dealing with comments and how to integrate those in kind of seamlessly, because it's something I use a lot and I think you'll get a lot of value out of too. Now, in this case, we're looking at the ek to cryptowall4.pcap-ng file. It's one we've looked at already, and we'll look at it again in more detail later. Don't have to be too concerned about exactly what's going on, but the key point to understand here is that there are a lot of packets. There's 653 packets here, and there's a lot to go through, and there's a lot of different conversations happening. You can scroll through these and start looking at different conversations and figuring out what's going on, but by the time you get to the end, it's going to be really likely that you've forgotten what you were looking at the beginning, right? You're going to see things, and you're going to want to make notes, and you can certainly do that with just a pencil and paper, and I definitely keep a notebook at my desk, and I do that type of thing. But in a lot of cases, it makes more sense just to make comments directly in the file, and Wireshark's going to allow us to do that pretty easily. Let's look at an example. We have, right off the bat here, we have a three-way handshake, send, synac, ack, between two hosts, and then we have a GET request for index.php/services. Now I can go in here and I can follow this HTTP stream. And if I do that, we're going to learn a little bit about this, what's going on based upon the application layer data that's transferred. There's a GET request for index.php/services from the referrer, which appears to be a Bing search. That's to sydneygroup.com.au, and we have a response which includes a lot of data. Now, this data includes what looks to be some JavaScript that's potentially obfuscated. Clearly, these aren't legible words, but it is clear text. It's not necessarily encrypted, and we've definitely decompressed the gzipped encoding. So what we have, I believe, is obfuscated JavaScript. Now, the way in which we can deobfuscate this JavaScript is within what we have here. We have that ability. A little beyond the scope of this course, so we're not going to do that here. But nonetheless, I see this as obfuscated JavaScript, probably going to lead to some type of malicious redirect that's going to lead to some type of malicious file download. That's common drive-by exploit or exploit kit type behavior. So I see this, but I don't want to deobfuscate it now. I want to go ahead and keep looking through the file and see what I can find. So instead of dealing with this now, I'm going to close it, and I'm actually going to make a comment. Now, Wireshark makes that really easy. I'm just going to right-click on the packet and click on Packet Comment. It's going to bring up this little box. I'll just say, let's just call this potentially malicious obfuscated JS, right? That's what we know about it right now. We can add that in really easily. I'll hit OK. And sure enough, in the packet details window, we see we now have this section for packet comments. If I expand that, it's going to show the comment I've added right there in line. Now, remember, this isn't actually part of the packet data, but it is part of the PCAP-NG file at this point. And if I save this file, these comments will be saved along with it. So I can close it, move the file elsewhere, reopen it, and the comments will still be there, which is pretty darn cool. Particularly cool if you're going to be taking this packet capture and handing it to someone else or storing it as part of a case file. Then when someone else opens it up, they can see your comments and really quickly see what's going on. Very, very neat. Now, this is great, but it presents an interesting problem. You can see in the packet details window, it tells us there's a comment here. But what if I click off of this packet? How do you know which packet has a comment associated with it? You really don't. I can scroll through these, and of course, when I get to packet 4, I'll see the comment exists there. But once I'm off that packet, you don't know. So you don't know without looking which packet necessarily has a comment. And that's a bit of a problem, but it is one we can correct. So a cool thing about packet comments is you can actually filter on them. So if I click back up here to packet 4, I can right-click on this comment and say Apply as Filter, selected. And what it's going to do is put this filter up here, PKT_comment. And that's going to say, show me every packet in which a comment exists. That's pretty neat. And it's neat for a couple reasons. One is we can very quickly just show all the commented packets just like that. I'll go ahead and clear this out of here. The other thing that's pretty neat is anything we can apply a filter to, we can also apply as a column, right? And we talked about applying columns earlier when we talked about customizing Wireshark. So what I can do here is right-click this and say Apply as Column. and we get this new column that says packet comments, and any packet that has a comment will say yes. Pretty neat. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to shrink this down a little bit. It's a little too big, taking up a little bit too much horizontal space. So I'm going to edit this, and instead of packet comments, I'm just going to call it C. C for comment. Hit OK, and I'm going to shrink that down as much as I can. So now I have this really great column that's going to show me anytime a packet has a comment. So I can scroll through this really quickly and see what's commented, or I can actually just click on it and sort by it. In this case, it'll show me all of them here were sorted at the bottom. So here are the commented packets at the bottom. Or I can filter on it if I want to filter on it directly in the filter bar. So that's pretty neat. When someone hands me a packet capture that they've been working with, and I know that they're someone who comments their packets, the first thing I'll do, if I don't already have it done, is either apply this column or apply the packet comment filter and look for any comments, because if I know where those are, that's basically my roadmap markers where I can just step through those comments and see what's going on. It's a habit I highly recommend you get into if you're going to be transferring packet captures between people. I know just for my purposes of teaching packet analysis, I spend a lot of time commenting out packet captures for my own purposes so that when I go back and review those for teaching, I can say, okay, I want to teach about this thing here, here's where this other weird thing happens, and so on. Because you're not going to remember all this stuff as you're looking through these packets, and packet comments are just a really great way to supplement where your memory is going to fail you a little bit.